We grew so rapidly in the first 10 years that it was almost difficult to determine who we were.
There was a lot of confusion on staff. I think there was a lot of burnout. We had people leave and even, unfortunately, leave ministry as a whole because they had just spread themselves too thin. We all knew God had called us to something unique, but we were turning into a church that didn't look very unique.
I don't think we had not necessarily didn't have the giftings, but we didn't have the experience on staff to navigate that for us. We didn't have the person that could say, I've been there, done this, now let me guide you through this.
Our foundation was a little shaky. We were trying to keep up, and I'm not a very good organizational leader and kind of a blah leader, so let's do that shiny thing.
And in that time, we wanted to go back to the original call. What was that? We felt like we had lost it. Auxano, through the vision frame process, helped us reclaim it.
What they helped us do is go like, you're not going to stay there. There's some neat things that God has done in your church. There's some neat things that are going to come out of this pain. We can kind of help coalesce that stuff and boil it down and help you get some language around it that'll maybe give you a new, fresh start.
You've got to go through and articulate exactly why God has created this congregation, what He's called that congregation to do. It's not the same as the other church. Otherwise, there'd just be one church. Every one of us has got our own unique calling, and the Auxano process helped us to articulate and identify that.
I liked how those guys asked me questions and helping us identify and put words to who we are and who we want to be. Not going like, here's what you should do as a church and here's who you should be. I didn't get any of that from those guys. So it wasn't scary because it wasn't somebody else telling me how to do this. It was somebody pulling from us already what our personality is and what our calling is as a church.
It's very easy now to communicate to a person what harvest is, where before we kind of knew in our gut what it was and could tell what it wasn't. There wasn't a unity on staff around that because it wasn't clearly articulated.
We have an articulated mission that people seem to connect with. Like I get emails from people now going, hey, Vern, thanks for the sermon, blah, blah, blah. And they'll finish with, you're really helping us just live life as though Jesus were living through us. And I'm going, yay. It's actually become a part of our vernacular, the way we talk.
There's a freedom, there's a confidence, there's an identity. We have an identity which is great because in consumer-driven Christianity, which we all face in church these days, we know who we are. And that gives the people almost a crisis point where they can say yes or no. That's why we have great other Christian ministries in our communities, but people get to make an educated decision of who Harvest is.
If we don't have an identity as a church that we can own, you lose integrity with your congregation, with the community.
I'd say to any senior pastor that it's worth giving these guys a kind of unfettered access to your heart because they care about the local church and they're not telling us how to do it. What they're doing is helping us understand our own particular expression of how we participate in the kingdom of God. I think they did a great job for us.
Knowing where we need to go as a church and knowing what we need to do to get there organizationally, who we are, how we operate, what our strategy is. If you look at what it means to the future decades of our church, I don't know how you would put a cost-benefit analysis on that wouldn't come up and say that it was the best money we could have spent.